I'm pleased that you're here today to watch and learn about the expedition of the Ozone Flutes. Together, London and Haifa have existed thousands of years and gone through many incarnations. The city's arteries, through which life flows like those of the body, need to be opened up in order to release the accumulated obstructions of time. Many people were involved in many ways to help ensure the success of the journey, from technical assistance to spiritual guidance, all specialists in their field. These people help to map out the metropolises and find sick points in need of energetic healing, where the ozone flutes are implanted. Before we start, I want to thank all the partners on this journey whom we will soon meet. It is my hope that this film will take us all to a new era, in part heralded by the small ozone flutes.
I ask that the vibration of the gong may contact the vibration of all the bells that ring in London. Those that used to ring in London thousands of years ago. Those that rang in London hundreds of years ago. Those that will ring in London in the future when we have peace upon our planet. That they may be harmonized with the universal harmony of the earth. I ask this in the name of everything that's holy, in the name of everything that's sacred, in the name of the Most High, in the name of the Goddess, and in the name of love. I ask that everywhere that Aiden goes,
זה מתחיל מתחושה מאוד מאוד חזקה שמשהו חסר. שכל מה שמסביב הוא יכול להיות מאוד יפה, הוא יכול להיות מאוד מפתה, מאוד מסקרן, אפילו מאוד מעניין, אבל הוא ביסודו ממש ממש חסר. הוא לא הסיבה שבשבילה נולדנו הנה. ואז מתחיל חוסר שקט נוראי, חוסר שקט שאוחז בך בנפש, בגוף, והוא שולח אותך לצאת לדרך חדשה שעבורי שינתה את הכל. בכל דבר, ביחסים עם אנשים, במין, באומנות, באיך שאתה אוכל, באופן שאתה מביט בעצמך במראה. אתה הופך להיות, אם אתה בוחר בזה, כמו פותחן בקבוקים של העולם. אתה עוד פותחן. יש אנשים שהם כמו פותחנים. הכל נראה לך סגור, צריך להתחיל לפתוח, זה נהיה אובססיבי, זה תופס אותך, אתה מתעורר בו, אפילו בלילה. וגם מזה אתה צריך להירגע. להתחיל ללמוד איך עושים את זה.
Okay.
So it's a funny sort of triangle, isn't it?
No, it's a
It can't be there.
triangle.
It can't be there. Maybe it's down here, Green Park. There's there with this lovely
Yes.
trees.
Yes. Yeah, I'm getting a sort of a bit of rush.
Green Park.
Yeah. So let's mark that as the centre of London.
So what should we put?
C for centre.
What colour?
Any colour.
Felina Bruce has lived on Russell Street in London for the past 20 years. She earns her living as a space healer and spirit releaser. The connection with Felina was made in the fall of 2010. She joined on as a guide in the first journey for planting the flutes. Felina's dedicated assistants, Garrett and Amravati, participated in the meetings.
by the way, is an eagle's feather. It's very difficult to get your hands on the eagle's feather. The only people who are allowed to get that are American Indians who are shamans. And I was given it by one. As such, it's you can't kind of get them. They're illegal to have unless you have been given them or got them, that way.
למצוא מקום.
מה זאת אומרת?
אני מתעורר מוקדם, מרגיש שאני צריך עץ. אז אני הולך למצוא את העץ הנכון. ואני מוצא. לוקח לי חצי שעה. אני מגיע לעץ שמחכה לי כבר הרבה זמן, מה שנקרא. אני לא בן אדם מטייל. אני הולך למצוא. תמיד אני הולך למצוא. לא תמיד אני יודע מה, אבל אני יודע שאני צריך למצוא עכשיו משהו.
Ariel Atad has a long reputation for his ability to locate and open the channels of energy of places. Ariel lives in Haifa and is familiar with the cities on levels not perceived by the five senses. With the aid of his magic stick, sites in the holy city were located for implanting the flutes.
פה?
לא. זהו, פה נגמר העולם. פה נגמר העולם.
Zoe Brand lives in South End Green, London, and is devoted to the practice of shamanism. She has traveled throughout the world investigating many shamanic cultures, and through self-training has become a prominent figure in shamanism of the Western world. With the help of the spiritual guides which she ceremoniously invites, she looks for answers to questions that no living person in this world can provide.
I'm going on a journey to meet my spirit helpers and ask them to show me where, if anywhere, in the landscape of central London, there are blockages of energy. I'm going on a journey to meet my spirit helpers and to ask them to show me where, if anywhere, there are blockages of energy in the landscape of central London. I'm going on a journey to meet my spirit helpers and to ask them to show me where, if anywhere, there are blockages of energy in the landscape of central London. I'm in the place where all the worlds meet, and I'm surrounded by all my spirit helpers, new and old. Some of them have been with me for many years, some of them have been with me only a few days. And I'm standing in the centre of the circle, and there's a fireplace, a hearth with stones around, and today the fire is lit and the flames are healthy and strong. And I say to all of my spirit helpers in the circle that I've come to ask to be shown where, if anywhere, there are energy blockages in the landscape of central London. And my upper world teacher steps forward, and my vulture and my crow and I say, is anyone else ready to come with me? And I see my condor. And I get on the back of my condor and I rise up into the air, and the vulture and the crow are with me, and my upper world teacher is with me. And we rise up out of the circle, and I'm looking down and I can see the circle below, and all my teachers are looking up and waving, and I can see the fire at the middle of the circle. And we're rising up into the air, and we're moving south. And we're moving very fast over farmland and over green landscape, over trees. And now in the distance I can see the outline of a huge city. And it's the edge of London, and I recognise it. And I can see it, a dark circle on the ground.
האנשים האלה הם שגרירים. הם שגרירים של רבדי קיום שעדיין לא מוכרים לנו. כשאנחנו רואים איש כזה, שאנחנו נתקלים בו בדברים שהוא אומר, לפעמים אפילו באופן שהוא הולך ברחוב, אנחנו מרגישים סוג של תדר אחר. תשמעי, יש היום דברים שאף אחד לא יודע להסביר. הדבורים הולכות ומתות. בכל רחבי העולם, שום מדען לא מוצא לזה תרופה. מה קורה לדבורים? מה קורה לדבורים?
Describe a future event retrospectively, and when we're talking about the riots, the London riots, you know what they said in the news. You know there was a demonstration about this person that was killed by the police, and this was the trigger to the violence. However, this future event started subtly and microcosmically much earlier.
Avi Pichon is a writer, artist, and curator living and working in London. His work focuses on utopian and monumental aesthetics. During Eitan's trip to London, Avi accompanied him as advisor on the city's occult folklore and the contemporary concept of psychogeography.
Ozone Flutes helped the people of London to externalize accumulated rage in a way that didn't cause complete destruction. It didn't bring the end of law and order in London, and it also didn't bring a revolution, okay? It stayed in a certain equilibrium, which is part of a sacred cycle that the flutes are active participants in it, and the Londoners are active participants in it, and the cycle is constantly present. And at this point, we are waiting in our imprisonment in linear time to see what's next. And it's not coming up next because it's already here. We just have to react to it. And there will be more. There will be more events that I will certainly be able to associate with the ozone flutes.
So this is the first place that we're starting. It's a graveyard. It's a church.
How do you feel being here?
I don't know, it's new to me, this place, but I think it's a good place to start from the dead.
Okay, so I'm just explaining that within the earth there are concentrations of energy that's flowing, which is a bit like the veins and arteries in a body. And it doesn't mean that energy isn't in the rest of the earth, but it's concentrated there. And in a normal environment, not a city, that this energy will be relatively clean, but because we have factories and various other things going on within the city, these lines get very polluted, particularly with electromagnetic pollution, with chemicals and radioactivity, all these various things. So what we have to do as earth healers is keep cleansing these lines, because then they will carry the good clean energy to all the other places and continue to feed the area, which is what their job is. This happens all over the world, it's not nothing to do with London. So I started off this location of the point by trying to find the lines in that area.
הירח הוא בעצם הפך להיות שבוי. הירח, ננסה לדמיין, זה כוכב או מסה אנרגטית שבעצם משרתת היום את הכוחות באשר הם, כדי ליצור פה איזשהו חיזיון שווא, אוקיי? ש-make believe, שגורם לך לחשוב שאתה נמצא בתוך סיפור כזה וכזה, שאתה בעצם נמצא בהישרדות תמידית.
Oded Mansoura, holistic healer and master of the Kabbalistic language of letters, devotes himself to supporting the transition of humanity to higher dimensions and frequencies. According to him, the genetic code of human development lies in the roots of ancient Hebrew letters. Oded was consulted regarding letter frequencies in the journey to implant the ozone flutes.
הצעה שהיא ברמות חסרות תקדים, שיוצר דחיסות וצפיפות, שכמובן מייצר חום בהיבט מסוים. ולכן גם ההיבט הזה אומרים שיש היום תיאוריות שהכתבים נמסים וכדור הארץ הולך לעבור שינוי פולרי, אבל זה יותר מכל בגלל שאנחנו מגיעים באמת לסיום של סייקל, סיום של מעגל שהוא בין 26,000 שנה. כמו חליל או כמו מעטפת מסוימת. חליל זה בעצם תבנית של טבעות שנמצאות ברצף. טבעות שמחוברות שבעצם מייצגות מעגלים. מעגלים שנמצאים בסינכרוניזציה מסוימת. וכל מעגל הוא תדר. כל מעגל הוא אוקטבה של הבריאה.
I who are here now, and those that will be there in the future, when London yet again is a place of peace. May you help Aiton on his travels around London. Make his bike run smooth. Make the traffic evaporate. Give him sustenance and kindness when that is required. May peace and love go with him, not only on London, but wherever he goes on this planet.
Extraordinary. And I even feel a certain affinity with the Taylor on a personal level, because I think we are both also confused at the same level. Neither of us are trained. We are really like fumbling in the dark, okay? Because, I don't know, just one example from my general knowledge, Wilhelm Reich and his, life project of investigating orgone energy, right? Negative energy and positive energy, which he said that the entire universe is made of.
אתה יודע מה זה מגנטיות?
לא.
מה מושך אותך? באמת, הוא נמשך.
כן.
מה באמת מושך אותך? ואיזה השפעה יש לזה על החיים שלך?
החליל הוא בעצם ביטוי לסדר קוסמי מאוד מאוד גבוה, שבעצם מגלם את עצמו כצינור. צינור זה גם ההיבט של הצוואר שלנו, שהוא בעצם הגשר. הצוואר שלנו זה הגשר בין הלב לבין הראש, בין הרציו לבין הרגש. אבל מעבר לזה, אם אתה באמת רוצה להבין מה זה חליל, אתה באמת רוצה להבין מה זה אלוהים, אתה באמת רוצה להבין מה זה העולם, אז אל תלך רחוק, תלך ברמה הכי בסיסית, תלך להבין את המהות האלכימית של החיבור של החטא למד יוד למד. אני רוצה להבין מה זה אלוהים, אני צריך להבין מה זה הצירוף של א' למד ה' י' מ'. הכל נמצא שם, רק אף אחד לא טרח ללמד אותנו את זה, מסיבות כאלו או אחרות. למהות הזו שנקראת חטא, יש תפקיד מאוד מאוד מהותי בהוויה האולטימטיבית שלנו, שיותר מכל, קודם כל למה קראו לחטא? קודם כל להרחיק אותנו מהדבר הזה.
We're coming round over Regent's Park, and there's nothing. Regent's Park looks green and pleasant, and now I'm coming down towards Oxford Street, and I can see the place where the Middlesex Hospital used to be. And there's a very big hole there. It's the biggest one I've seen so far. And then we've risen up into the air, and now we're going west. And there's a hole in the middle of Oxford Circus, but it's the opposite. It's not sucking in, it's pushing out energy. And now Hyde Park, Marble Arch. And that's fine. And we're going over Hyde Park. And down to Knightsbridge.
Now I've got a sense here we all need to breathe like an out breath to stand up, not now, to stand up and do it directly onto the flutes. Because remember, there is nothing more powerful than the breath. Like Jesus breathed on somebody, I'm a bit out of date with Jesus, but Jesus breathed on somebody and they came back to life or whatever. So I feel that we all in turn need to do an out breath, or maybe more than one out breath, depending on how many flutes one thinks one's covered, with the idea of giving them our power. But through us, we are channeling the power of the higher beings. So it's not just our power, but the powers that we channel as well as our power. So I think we just do it clockwise, one at a time. And try not to spit on them. Take a deep breath first. Blessed be. Blessed be. Blessed be.
עכשיו אני צריך למצוא את המקומות לחלילים שלך. זה העבודה שלי. אני מוצא מקומות לכל מיני דברים. כן. זה לא... אתה חשקה נפשך בלתקוע חלילים. הם חלולים בכלל?
בטח.
מה?
חלולים לגמרי.
חלולים. אבל יש אופציה שהם מנגנים מהם?
יש.
לא, אין להם חורים.
חלקם יש.
כן.
אבל הם, מכיוון שהם תקועים בתוך הקיר, אז כדי שיצא צליל הקיר צריך לנשוף.
אז הקיר צריך לנשוף. יש קירות שנושפים. כן.
I'm not sure I know what are those sound frequencies doing, but I'm interested in finding out. And it doesn't matter to me that the context that allowed me to further explore this or experience it, and maybe, you know, I do believe in sound, and I come from the world of music, and I definitely believe that sound has an effect. Affects the body, in fact, affects the mind. But it was precisely this bizarre and ludicrous gathering of weirdos, and I was one of those weirdos. I was not an anthropologist standing from the outside looking in, and the part of me which ridiculed the whole situation ran its course after maybe 10 minutes, and then I was busy with the experience. So yes, this gathering of fools and clowns allowed me a glimpse into something I usually fail to allow myself to glimpse at in everyday life.
And I say, is this a dark energy place here? And the crow flies down and vanishes into it. And then it comes back out again and it's turned white. So it's like a white crow, which looks very strange. And I say, is this a place of blocked energy? And they say no. And I say, is there anywhere else that you can show me? And they say no. And the vulture throws back his head and makes a loud noise and opens his wings. And I say thank you very much to the three of them for showing me these things, and we go back to the condor who's still sitting on top of Nelson's column on Nelson's head. And we all three get on his back and we lift up into the air, and I can see now like a red glowing line between these points on the map, and we lift up into the air and we go back over the landscape I saw before, over the farmland, over the woods, back to the circle where I met my spirit helpers, and we land in the middle. And I say thank you to all of them for being there. Thank you to the ones who came with me. Thank you for showing me these things. And I come back here.
Thank you.
Okay.
Right, now we need some, something about this needs livening up, and I feel we all need to stand up and dance for that. On the spot, please. Perhaps with bowls, but who knows a happy song?
Always look on the bright
Side of life. Do 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 do. Always look on the bright side of life. Dee 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 dee. Always look on the bright side of life.
And just before you draw your final breath,
Dee 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 dee.
can't remember the rest of the words.